just a hint of a reptile. That's enough to change my shower plans.
I'm worried that this smirk has been on my face for so long that it won't wipe off. My face would be incomplete without it.
I think I'd be pretty good at making up words that sound like science to describe shampoo.
I saw two pirates walk into a lash place. One looked relieved, the other looked very disappointed.
I sleep in 5 to 7 minute bursts. I call it sprint sleeping. Those marathon sleepers can bite me.
It's so cold outside, a squirrel asked me to microwave his nuts.
Some days are more like working the balloon dart booth than others.
Hey, it's a bitsy spider. Mavis spout isn't your best route.
My clock needs to see my eyes every 15 minutes during the night.
I'm all about showing my spirit. I just have to remember the incantations.
He needs GPS to get back from his tangents.
My neighbor across the street keeps yelling at his trash cans. They'll never learn.
When I run at the track, I play NASCAR and swap paint with the runners trying to pass me.
Pan of frosting at my desk is a form of emergency preparedness.
Back in my day, we were more selective about how we use blah blah blah.
Asking about quantity and frequency of nap breaks in an interview does not show an attention to detail.
When I wiped that smile off my face, I forgot where I put it.
Hey, it's far better to have a song stuck in your head than a hatchet. In most cases, that is.
My selective hearing is keen.
Hot pad, you had one job.
Frankly, I prefer urinal pies.
Nothing is a good housewarming gift for a minimalist.
My high heels didn't say playful. They said teetering on the verge to being dangerous to others.
You 31-day months think you're so big. Later can also be as good as time as any.
And now there's a rift between the calzones and the strombolis?
The earthworms have taken to the sidewalk to protest how wet it is. Stupid dead earthworms.
The replace remote battery show has become so predictable.
I bite directly into candy bars that candy makers designed to be broken into pieces. You're not my mom, candy bar maker.
Most adults have less trouble choosing cereal than I do.
You know, some days you really do just have to go with the crunchy floor contact lens and the almost moldy toast.
A waste is a terrible thing to mind. So are your manners.
People who say, I hate to be the one to tell you, always have the biggest smile on their face.
Help the old lady in front of me count her change in order to buy her smokes. I'm no hero. She was delaying my lot of purchase.
You have this machine outside that's supposed to scare away pests. I'm going to take its job, alright? I'm going to be the one that says, hey, mice, go away. I'm an owl.
I've been fasting all day. Walk slower.
Sleeping in is slightly more socially acceptable than sleeping around. Both can make you late for work.
People who design airport sinks are nefarious pranksters. That's why you see people on planes with wet hands.
Lots of people are no match for straw wrappers, I told myself.
Some people answer yes or no questions with paragraphs.
When I try to teach my old dog new tricks, he shows me the rider in his contract.
They gave a praying mantis 3D glasses in an experiment to see if bugs will pay an extra $6 to see a movie and get a headache.
I just turned up the sound on a subtitled movie because I couldn't read it fast enough.
The test of my judgment can be told how much I put into my eyes.
As far as mixes go, I prefer Chex to Wintry.
My dog drives more of my daily workflow than anything else. Bladder and stomach are tied for second place.
If we really try, we can come up with yet another way to make eggs.
Skipping meals is a far better method of weight loss than skipping during meals.
The baby delivering storks are striking over dangerous working conditions. Compensation for chimney-singed feathers is one of their demands.
Store closing. Everything must go.
This cornfield is fancy. The scarecrows are in Abercrombie & Fitch. They look cooler 15 years ago.
Sometimes I think I'm too shallow, but I razor scooter over to the big pool.
Bring me a swash and I'll buckle it. Or how I failed my pirate's exam.
Perfect world, all cooking shows would equal dishwashing shows. But we don't need any of the bathroom shows.
But now all I have is a barrel full of bullet-riddled fish.
I need to dream more about conditioning so I can outrun the monsters.
Wake up with scratches on my arms. Proof that the monsters under the bed have developed a taste for older people. They're just being patient.
It's not that I forgot your name. I'm just using it sparingly to keep it special.
Best thing about coffee stomach is when it splashes up into my nose and makes me sneeze like a hopped up dragon.
And I am part way through yet another bad hair month.
One trick pony. Big deal. Just being a pony is spectacular.
My ability to predict the future only applies to bar guys who think they're about to get laid.
I woke up with a song in my heart. On my way to the ER now.
Let's change the rule of plurals just to mix things up.
Scientists have created a thread that's only 3 atoms wide. Of course, to stay that size, it disappears to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
The only thing that ever solved temporarily throwing bodies at it was appeasing the volcano gods.
I'm about to take this quiz where the questions are all rhetorical. Is this some kind of joke?
Restless dog syndrome kept me up half the night.
My problem with staging a coup has always been the lighting.
I've had so many work-related dreams. I've started sleeping business casual.
My new show idea, the guy who says he's a bachelor, but his finger is a different color where his ring should be, to ABC.
In my world, money is an object.
Sometimes I wake up and one of my arms is asleep. Today it was my head.
My bathroom in the morning, it's like freezing, and my shower's blistering. It's like training to be a Navy SEAL.
Reply all is a privilege, not a right.
I asked for a combo, but they gave me a quartet. What am I going to do with a cellist? And they forgot my fries!
Sometimes I sleep with my contacts in so I can drive at night in my dreams.
Sometimes my thoughts come from so far from nowhere that I just forget to walk temporarily.
Sometimes I envy lion tamers. At least they get a whip and a chair.
Meeting running along? Try a 7th inning stretch. Maybe eat a hot dog too.
Okay. There are people who don't break apart their gimme jigsaw puzzle pieces that come stuck together in a box. And there's me.
Hey landscapers, if you don't want to see my swimsuit, don't test sprinklers in such a fun-looking way.
Maybe it's my vision. Maybe I'm worse at recognizing shapes now.
I will not eat popcorn lower than a kernel.
Night terrors keep my blood pressure crazy high, even when I'm sleeping.
There's some fan to light switch patterns in this house that have not been committed to memory. I've only lived here 25 years.
The day you have all the answers is the day you change your search criteria.
It's no big deal when a bunch of windows pop open at the same time on my computer, but if my house did that, I'd freak out.
Returning calls by text is a gift from the gods.
As I fished the contact lens out of my chest hairs, I thought, This must be what the 70s were like for eye doctors.
Could it be attention to details with an S? Attentions to detail.
Sometimes I take more water so I don't hurt my server's feelings.
Oh, wait, in the boat. That was the Tin Man in the Oz scuba trip.
If chimps had discovered wearing baseball caps backwards first, we'd be the ones in cages.
I can never make it as a competitive eater. Competitive napper. That's where I'd shine.
Sometimes I like to watch the TV with the volume real loud to feel like I'm much older.
There's a big difference between can't go in the dishwasher and shouldn't go in the dishwasher.
After my lawyer tried to explain habeas corpus to me, I still don't understand maritime law.
My workout music almost drowns out the complaints from my body.
Being burned by soup seems healthier than being burned by pizza.
I would like to think that Deputy Dog has been made sheriff by now.
Over 70% of my food is consumed before it's properly cooled.
There's a lady knitting on a train. How nice. Wait, she's knitting a noose. Back off, Granny!
I'm not a mouth scientist, but I'm pretty sure massage drool is a cure for something.
Bought some chocolate-flavored hemp non-dairy beverage. It's one of those tastes that makes your nose go, I'm not sure we should be drinking this.
My stomach has way too much power in this relationship.
The dog would be so proud of himself if he knew how many times I use his name as a password. Then he would want to know what a password is.
Let's extend the number of senses to 7 to include of humor and of entitlement.
Hey, rational thoughts. Where are you in the middle of the night?
Pigs and quilts seem too cute to be part of a balanced breakfast.
The pheasants are looking at the chickens going, that could have been us!
My something bagel seems incomplete.
I'm constantly fighting my urge not to wave too quickly.
The only way I'm going to retire is through witness protection.
Let's see. How would I rate this kettle of fish? Fine.
Currently, there are more shoes in the den than there are in my closet.
When I say I read an article, it means I glanced at the headline.
Let's try downward inflections on questions for the next 24 hours.
The right amount of attention is paid to the fine art of pillow fluffing.
My ingenue days are waning.
You know, at least pretend like you were going to hold the elevator door for me. Because, you know, elevator grudges run deep. Parking garage deep.
I sleep so much better when it's raining. There's something about being really wet and cold.
Well, there are no stupid questions. Some are pretty close. Of course, this doesn't actually account for stupid people asking questions.
I timed it poorly, but I am the song of the summer.
Awkward silence is my oxygen.
Thought I saw Wolverine, but it was just to do with rakes for hands.
I may have left my contacts in a little too long. My vision is so cloudy, I'm having to circle the airport until it's safe to land. Now they're diverting my eyes to Houston.
I've never worked for a job where introducing a new scent was a good thing.
If you know I'm super busy, why'd you email me, stranger? Some jackass gives you my email and this is what you do with it?
You gave the monkey a trumpet.
I made the bathwater too hot and poached myself. As I'm looking for my ticket, holding my $16 cup of beer in my mouth, I'm thinking, I've had better ideas.
The news. You can come in. Huey, you're gonna have to wait on the porch with the blowfish.
Hey, mathematicians. You know who else uses formulas?
You know, medicine commercials paint such a harmonious world that sometimes I wish I wasn't so healthy.
I was trained to be highly sarcastic. It's weird for me to genuinely respond to anything.
I need an insurance policy to protect my mouth from really pointy chip corners.
It's not that I don't have filters. It's just that most of them default to all.
I wouldn't call myself a gunslinger, but I do have trouble holding on to my pistols.
Cigarette filter snowmen add a nice yellowing touch to any ashtray-themed table setting.
In the alternate universe, all earbuds work perfectly, and they never get lost.
With all the rain, my backyard looks like a rainforest. I might open up a gift shop and a cafe that sells those mini corn dog bites for $17.
Sending a letter is always such a personal touch because your spit goes with it.
We need to increase the reproduction of suckers to 3.
I may need a studio audience for my next performance review.
I am not comfortable if the top bread and the bottom bread of my sandwich are facing in opposite directions.
In my day, a Polaroid was my backup camera.
But my mama does dance, and my daddy does rock and roll.
Sophistication is as simple as putting on one's shoes and shirts when company comes.
I hope the universe doesn't consider insects that have smashed into my windshield or ant piles that I have screwed with when calculating my karma.
I worked at a company where the employee handbook was all about gloves, lotion, and sanitizer.
Wow, they're asking math questions on the red carpet and making celebrities show their work. Ryan Seacrest is grading answers with a red pen.
My degree in ultra-conservative arts required me to ban most of my own work.
The clothes I pick in the morning have the power to change the weather.
So you were lying about everything else you said before? I'm not gonna lie?
My ability to care is often proportional to the day of the week. I think I'm an old soul. I get really hungry for dinner at 4:15.
I had to wait when I got here too. Glaring at me won't make me eat faster. It makes me enjoy it more.
Morphin time has been delayed to 11:30.
Playing a little microwave crime scene. Must have been a massacre.
I have never been slapped with a franchise tag, but I have been slapped while wearing a tag from a franchise. Karen's fries were room temperature.
Georgie Porgy has lost yet another endorsement deal.
Really, officer, Jack's crown was broken in a hill fall. Never mind the monkey wrench behind my back.
We have a bunch of stakeholders in my office, but no vampires.
Next week, I think I'm going to try going around hoops instead of jumping through them.
I ran without music today. Unless you call wheezing like a freight train music.
When I was a kid, the Weather Channel was the window.
It's the condiments that complicate this food serving hat.
My boredom is great at tricking my hunger.
We'd like to present the Lifetime Achievement Award for accidentally removing crowns to Bit-A-Honey.
But won't it be easier for predators to slaughter them if the ducks are in a row?
Asking, can I ask a question? Proves that you can.
They made Play-Doh taste good enough.
With each maroon, we thought this maroon was the worst. And then came Maroon 5.
I remember when the only polarizing we did was going outside and watching our glasses get darker.
Lady has a "If I Straddle It, It's My" t-shirt. Obviously, it's a Charm School graduation gift, I'm guessing.
As an adult, when I hide, there are fewer seekers.
But my mama does dance, and my daddy does rock and roll.
Returning calls by text is a gift from the gods.
There's a fine line between an extra fine line and a medium line.
4 hours of sleep feels way closer to 0 than it does to 8.
6:30 a.m. as unwelcome as wet hacking coughs from the fry cook making my eggs.
Can I chime in anytime? Oh, yeah, terrific! You must really seem to value what I'm about to contribute.
If they won't give me a payday loan, I will apply for a Butterfinger one.
We are just not special remote drawer people.
Glue tastes exactly the same as it did when I was a kid. I always have to fight the urge to spray paint over my camera when a meeting pops on. Old habits.
Saying end of story extends that story.
I had the worst night. I almost made eye contact with one of my backup dancers. That will not be happening again. Condolences to her family.
8 hours of sleep is like Bigfoot. It may exist, but I might not ever experience it.
I guess it's better than chewing more than I can bite off.
I'm not disappointed. I'm just mad at you.
You're never too busy or too important to flush.
I don't need to talk with my 2 hands because I have 2 perfectly good 2 feet.
The corn is cracked enough, Jimmy.
I don't need anger management. I need anger leadership.
Naps would be the easiest thing in the world to sell.
When I finally become an assassin, I hope to get my code name early before all the cool snake-based code names are taken. With my luck, I'd end up with a name like Silverfish or Finch.
If I ever have to have my hip replaced, I'm going with kangaroo.
How about we set our clocks forward an hour on Monday at 4 p.m.? That's the kind of daylight I want to save.
I spent all weekend trying to find a cricket that would be my conscience. One cricket wanted to be my subconscious. I can't quite figure out how I feel about that.
The fork in the road puzzled me. But I found a spoon and I was able to twirl my pasta.
I may not have a heart of gold. Would you settle for a spleen of pewter?
I do hope the makeup of the jury is tasteful.
COVID gave me another kind of brainstorm.
My douche detector may need a new battery after today.
Working remote is very different from working the remote. They can, however, be combined.
Before there were headlights, the deer were awfully cocky.
Ding! That was my timer. I no longer have to feign interest in this.
I am totally watching what I eat. It is just that tasting it is so much more satisfying.
I accepted a collect call on my cell phone, and I went back in time.
I guess no one on the train knows how to do the wave.
I would win so much in a league of my own.
Such a good night's sleep. I'm wondering if this is also a dream.
I can honestly say I've never botched a case or bungled a prosecution.
I never bark when the dogs are on their conference calls.
Just walking by a place that sells pancakes makes my fingers sticky.
The list of things I won't use as a back scratcher continues to shrink.
I've never been a flight risk, well, since I lost my baby wings.
Changing the weather? Big deal. I've got change in my sofa and in my washing machine.
I'm preparing for my physical by putting on one of those Olivia Newton-John headbands from the 80s video. R.I.P. Livy.
The coffee is for clothiers. That's a line from Glengarry Glen Ross department stores.
Today's one of those days where I don't just look like I was shaved by a monkey. Thank you, Admiral Bubbles.
I'm having trouble finding the elements of surprise in this period day.
Note to self. Self never remembers anything that isn't designated as a note.
That construction worker called that bulldozer heavy equipment. I have never seen a bulldozer tear up. Equipment shaming is not a victimless crime.
Why so bitter, Coffee? If I ever get a throat tattoo, it's gonna say poke here, in case I choke.
My superpower is my ability to make really simple things 5 to 20 times harder than they should be.
Get a new hat, little Debbie.
I was wondering what the etiquette was for loudly playing a video on a phone in public, and then I thought, oh, right.
While I've never seen a tarantula steal a horse, I wouldn't put it past one.
Sum things up. I add them together.
Dining alone in public does bring out my pantomime skills. Lets people know that I'm really enjoying myself.
Thank you, kind stranger, for telling me I had a tag on my new shirt. I feel kind of guilty for punching you.
And another food I can add to my It's Complicated list.
I'm not doubting your little ghost friends. I'm just asking if they could say things forward rather than backwards, for recording purposes.
Since the world went remote, my mornings haven't changed that much. I guess just fewer people asking me for change.
I didn't hurt myself. The sidewalk hurt me. But the joke's on her. What's she gonna do with that chunk of my flesh?
To be fully transparent, the opaque factory went out of business.
I have never been accused of being uptight. You know, I'm more down loose. Except, not down there. Down there, I'm down tight. In here,
I just ate a family-sized bag of barbecued chips. I was the only one home, so I figured that qualifies.
In my day, toilets that flushed themselves were the work of tidy ghosts.
The dogs flicked the cigarettes at me when I was trying to get her to hurry up on a walk. Who know that dogs flick?
If you're gonna steal my identity, at least do something about the bags under my eyes.
Crap, my Furby just came back to life and she's pissed. I never really got into Furbies, so I don't really get that, but like, I don't know if it's funny or not, but.
When will time tell? So far, time doesn't speak. Are you lying to me?
Yeah, we don't have curly fries. Though there are curly hairs on these.
Sometimes my feet get cold. I'd like a redo on that superpower.
Sometimes I think I'm too vain. And then I spend some time looking at myself in the store window, and I think, I'm gonna kill them to use a little bit of Windex.
It's rare that I use my cellular camera to make a phone call. If the leash were reversed, I'd spend so much time sniffing that my dog would be running late for all of his appointments.
A new study states that beards are dirtier than dogs. Hey, study, what about dogs with beards?
A pen that is not produced right. It's just a stick mass produced.
I like my coffee so strong, it can bench like 450, bro.
Hey, digestion, what'd I ever do to you?
I bet monkeys get super frustrated with Scotch tape. I was my rotary phone redial.
Why is it my responsibility to keep you honest?
Halloween candy got 20% smaller. That's why I don't feel bad about eating a whole bag of mini Reese's before breakfast.
I think the GPS just smirked at me.
It's like I don't even have to pick up a pen to get ink on my hands.
If only I could get paid by the distraction.
That's the billboard for the procrastinator of Hall of Fame.
I think the new cashier can sense my disappointment when they open up in Lane, and I don't get the cashier I was hoping for.
Did you say you'd stop at nothing to explain my warranty? Nothing.
I've developed a non-lathering soap. I call it nothing.
No final verdict has been reached in Inca Dinka versus 1 potato, 2 potato.
I still need to win a few majors before I can retire.
When my Uncle Vic broke up with his girlfriend, he said her laugh was the least infectious thing about her.